What is up, and welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at various Bitcoin mining stocks and doing some technical analysis on those. Starting off with fear and greed, we can see we are still in extreme fear. So when we are in extreme fear, we do look for opportunities, yet also on the charts, we look for confirmation. We look for price structure, and we'll see what the charts have for us. We do see fear making higher lows, higher highs towards that neutrality territory, but we are deep down into fear at this moment. And as far as the stock market, this is still in fear territory as well. Now, some of the macro charts and indicators been pointing this out, how when we've had a very negative November as we had in 2022 and 2018, those were the local bottoms. Now, I've been comparing this pullback more so to that of 2019, because in 2019, that is when the Fed switched from quantitative tightening. They did a pause to quantitative easing. And if we have QE coming back with rate cuts, which are expected, the Fed is expected to cut rates by 25 basis points yet again, that would overall be bullish for 2026. And when we take a look macro-wise at the Shiller PE ratio for the S&P 500, we can see that we are in a bubble. Everyone knows that. Everyone's talking about the bubble, but I do think it can go on longer than people believe. I also think that there is a good chance that this AI bubble will get even a little bit bigger than the dot-com bubble. Now, when the dot-com bubble first got a Shiller P ratio over 40, and people were talking about it being a bubble even way back here in 97, 98, it still had over a year to go and 25% up. So I do believe there is still time for this bubble to run. Now, I've been talking about how the logarithmic regression, as far as the rainbow chart shows here, would indicate that from bottom to top, we are stretching each cycle. And we see that even reflected a little bit here on this is overall return since the halvings. And we'll see that the peaks don't always come at the same time. People like to talk about the 4-year cycle because in 2017 and in 2021, there were peaks. Even this cycle, there were peaks at a similar distance from the halving. However, alt season has come at different times. In 2021, it came earlier. And as far as the money flow, as far as the Fed switching to quantitative easing, I would say that a lot of signs point to an alt season or euphoric top coming later, like in that 2026 scenario I talked about in the Shiller PE. Now, before we get to mining stocks, just something to point out as far as Bitcoin and crypto markets overall are concerned, because there is a lot of correlation between them. We see here on the liquidation heat map, there are a lot of shorts stacked up here at around 94.5. So if Bitcoin can get through that 94.5 area, excuse me, which I'm here zoomed in on one of these charts. You see 94.5 right there and just rejected by it. If we can start getting through that area, I think that is going to be very good for Bitcoin. And overall, it is looking rather bullish. So if we do get through here, let's go to the daily chart. We have the 200-week moving average, what would turn into a head and shoulders, the bull market support band, all in this range between the 1618 and about 108K. There's even a bit of short stacked up there at 108K as well. So this would be the next battle zone, and then 116 after. So we'll address that when we get there. Anyways, let's get into the Bitcoin mining stocks. And first up, as always, we're going to talk about iron. Iron has almost double the market cap of some of the other mining stocks. And as I've been looking at some of these different mining stocks, the ones that have done well have this AI narrative attached with it. So iron, you can see just nice grinding movement up. This is an upward channel. It did break down a little bit and then just rocketed up. Now we do have a negative MACD cross, albeit it is to the positive side, but a negative cross like that, we want to see it hold structure and support. Here's the 1618 fib extension, and then low to high. Iron also hit this 236 pullback and that 20-week moving average. Let's go to the daily, see what we have there. The daily, however, you can see it is crossing up. Now, it is in this negative territory, so we may just be making some lower highs, lower lows for a little bit, but this is crossing up, and right at the time that iron is at that 50 and 20-day moving average. So if iron can get through here, then maybe we're going to test that 2618 at 71 again. However, if you're one of those people who believes in the 4-year cycle and you're thinking, oh no, I didn't sell the very top, and you're looking for a relief rally to sell because you're afraid you missed it, I'm not one of those people, but if you are, now would be an opportunity, or if it breaks up, if it gets anywhere near those levels at around 60 to 70 again. So not going to tell you where to sell, when to sell, or what strategy to have, but if you are a 4-year cyclist and you're worried about missing out on selling the absolute top, we have DCA out positions here and a little bit higher, but I won't address that in the future charts, but just something to keep in mind. It's hard to sell the very top, but if you can sell within a certain percentage of the top, and if you're looking at something like a 10x or more, hey, why not? I would not blame you for taking some level of profits. Next, let's go to Cypher. Cypher is the number 2 overall mining stock. When this cycle started, it was Mara and Riot, and we'll get to those, but Cypher and Iron more attached to some of the AI narrative. And you see Cypher still has a gap here in the MACD moving averages there. So Cypher may be getting ready to challenge that 2419. And let me ask you this, as far as historically, mining stocks have topped with Bitcoin. We've talked about that a lot on this channel. They are very correlated with Bitcoin. But we see mining stocks showing a lot of strength. And if Bitcoin can break through that 95K area that we talked about on the leverage heat map, some of these miners could be getting to new all-time highs. And that would tell me maybe Bitcoin's not done yet. Maybe, as I've been theorizing or hypothesizing, maybe we do still have further Bitcoin tops to go, something like the 150 to 200K area. Just saying. But anyway, Cypher, nice bounce here off the 20-week moving average. Moving on up, let's go over to the daily. Daily overall is looking positive. Maybe you could argue for a possible head and shoulders. Not quite sure about that, but I do like the strength. We had to move up, hit some resistance there. I do like the strength this is showing. But that 2110 area, that's the area to break through. And then we have to challenge that 1618 at around $24. Next mining stock, let's go to Wolf. I remember when Wolf was just outside the top 10. Some of you, I have a few Wolf fans on this channel. Some of you were asking, is Wolf done? What's going on with it? And some of us, we were smart enough to buy when it was at $2.30, and we were feeling pretty good about it right now. So Wolf, hopefully kind of pulling a Cypher or showing what Cypher can do. It did run into the upper area of this channel as well as the 786. So if it gets through that resistance at the 786, next channel area is 19. And you know what? Even if it breaks through that channel, that is going to be very bullish for Wolf if it breaks up and through that channel. Anytime I see ascending channels, most of the time I get nervous, but if we break above it, I do think you could see a large move up. If Wolf ever got near a price of around 50 or so, I'd be very hard pressed not taking a lot of profits there. But we can see here, let's zoom in on the MACD. If this does cross negative, I would be worried about that 236 again to that golden pocket all the way down $9 to $11 in that range. Next mining stock, let's go to Riot. Riot was the number 2 mining stock for most of this cycle. It has fallen back a little bit. I do think as far as chart structure and potential, I do think there is a lot of potential for Riot. Now we do see negative MACD on the weekly. We had that 0.5 microfib bounce. You can see here low to high, came all the way down to 0.5. There's some weekly moving averages, the 200, the 100, the candle body stayed above the 50. That's good. And when it came up, it hit the macro 0.5. You can see here, high to low, it ran into the macro 0.5. So it is possible, and we see a 20-week moving average as well. We have here a couple dojis, but it is possible we start to come back down, maybe do a lower high, come back down, test some support around 14 to I'd say around $14, high 13. That might be an area to look at getting into if you believe the market is going to resume bullishness. But if you do believe this is a lower high, I would not be surprised to see Riot get down to that $11 range. That's the macro 382 and the upper area of that channel that it used to be in. Next mining stock, let's go to Cores. And Cores, one of you brilliant viewers brought up this one when it IPO'd, and when it's back here for $3 at Cores, it got up to, what's that price, about $23. So nice returns there. And we do have on the MACD some lighter red boxes. So hopefully change of momentum. And if this thing goes positive, I could see Cores going even higher. So let's make sure our Fibonacci retracement is off log scale so we can take a look at those extensions. You can see how it ran into resistance at the 1, 2, 3, 6. If all of a sudden things are to flip bullish for Cores, then we're looking at the 1618 with the price target of around 26. So if you're looking at some possible profit taking, I'd say right there. But this thing, if it goes exponential, I'm even looking as high as $39, believe it or not. If the market were to resume bullishness and Bitcoin starts getting above 95K. I'm not kidding. I think these things can move very, very hot, very fast. Let's take a quick look at HUT. We don't always take a look at HUT every week, but I do like to come back to it sometimes. You can see there, this would be similar to what I was talking about with Wolf. If Wolf can pull a move like this, break out of the channel, it would test the 888 as well, like Wolf did, ran into that 786. Now you see bounce here off the 20 above the 786, and HUT looks like it might be getting ready to do some bigger movements. I'd say even get to former all-time highs at around 82. That'd be crazy. Ever since being down here at around $4 or $5, if it got back up to those all-time highs, I mean, just think about that. That's almost a 20x type return. So good job for any of you HUT holders. Now let's get to Mara. Mara, for most of the cycle, was the number one Bitcoin mining stock. Now it's down in the lower ranks. But I do like Mara at these levels. I do think it's worth a consideration. I know a lot of us are disappointed in Mara, and hopefully it can get above this golden pocket. But I do like my descending channels. I did. Full disclosure, I'm not telling you what to do, but I maybe picked up some Mara as it got to this 382 level. And, no doubt about it, it's going to have some resistance at all the moving averages, as well as the 0.5 fib here at 16. If Mara can break through 16, then we have the channel, the golden pocket here at 23, and sky's the limit for this one. So I do like some of the chart potential, as well as the research. Of course, I think you have to like the research first and foremost. I ask myself, anytime it comes to stocks, do you like the product? As far as the research, what do you like about it? Pros versus cons. Do you use the product? For most of this crypto stuff, let's be honest, we don't. But we are trying to be educated gamblers, good educated gamblers, as far as the research and potential. And if you do like that potential, then we get into the charting. So don't just buy it all because, the chart could go somewhere and could get you amazing returns. I'll show you something as a prime example, something like Green Ridge. If we zoomed way out, it could do a 4,000x, but remember, things are cheap for a reason, and it's all because something can do something doesn't mean it will. And also, look at that chart, just absolutely crazy. Is GREE still on this list? Yeah, there we go. I don't think it's going to get there, but wouldn't it be funny if it did? I would feel kind of sad about that. Anyways, after Mara, let's go to CleanSpark. CleanSpark is the next one. I can't believe we had a Green Ridge sighting today. As far as but also with the Green Ridge, that shows you what can happen with some speculative tech assets too. They can die. So if you can get profits on an altcoin or a very speculative asset that isn't long-term, take those profits. As far as CleanSpark, we see it broke out of the channel, ran into the 786 former resistance here, but I do like how it retested the channel, the golden pocket, and is moving up again. I think this is a very bullish setup, and should the rate cuts be bullish, we have a nice flip in the MACD here, at least temporarily. I think something like CleanSpark could really shoot up. 42, I'm not kidding. I think that would be a reasonable level if all of a sudden the markets decided to go green and flip to the bullish side. So I do like chart-wise that setup for CleanSpark. Let's now move into our bottom three. We'll finish up with Bitfarms, BitDigital, and Hive. There's a lot to go through, but I just like to look at the ones that I think you guys ask for the most, and which research looks the best on them too. As far as Bitfarms, you can see hit that 888. We don't always see the 888 as solid resistance, but we had it here. But now we have the golden pocket and the 20-week as support here at 285. So if you like it, good. The next thing we're looking for is structure and the MACD to flip positive as well. So if we can hold this structure, stay between 274 and $3, and the MACD, the strength starts to curl up, that wouldn't be bad. Let's go to BitDigital, and we'll finish out with Hive. BitDigital, this thing's just been accumulating for a while. I do like it near these levels in the high $1, low $2 range. Still weak. We don't have confirmation yet. But if you believe in the potential of this one, should it break out of a channel here, I would not just be looking at this golden pocket. I'd be looking a bit higher, 786 at the least, in a positive market scenario. So something to watch for as far as BitDigital. Again, you don't want to catch a falling knife on some of these mining stocks as they get lower in market cap. So I am waiting for confirmation just in case we do get local rejection. Same with Hive. Hive, we have this nice channel here, broke out of it, retested the channel, and then fell back into it. Now it's kind of flirting with the last moving averages. If you do like Hive, I'd say that 260 level would be an area to watch for. It is holding on to those moving averages though, so we'll see what happens. Let's zoom in on the daily, see what the daily has. The daily, not so bad. It does have some positive strength here. However, look at that 200. That 200, that is showing you, after we had this very negative move, the 200 is the resistance. So, as far as right now, we do have positive strength. To me, it looks like it would eventually bleed back down to the 236. So I'm willing to be patient on Hive personally and wait for that. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Again, do watch that 94.5 or 95K level. I think this is overall, look at that 20 average, how this is looking like a possible bullish pennant reversal. We get through that 95K level, it's all of a sudden we're going to see sentiment flip very quick in the crypto market. So do keep an eye on that. However, if we get rejected, just saying, it's like, will it, won't it? If we get rejected, anytime we have big moves and then a big moves down, a little bit of a positive move up and then come down again, then I'm looking at that 70K level if we cannot break through 95. So anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Hope you're all doing well. Have a great day. Take care.